So for those of you who didn't see my video explaining what the Amazon Associates program is and how it's going to work with this channel, let me do a brief recap on that for a moment. So Amazon has created a program called the Amazon Associates program that helps YouTube creators such as myself in a way to monetize our channel. Because as you probably know, YouTube has become stricter and stricter about what they want to monetize on YouTube for their platform. It's becoming very hard for YouTube creators to make money from their videos the way they used to, or to grow their channels with income the way that they used to. The reason why is they're saying it's not advertiser friendly. Point in case, when you report the subjects that mainstream media doesn't talk about, it's not advertiser friendly. So they won't monetize your videos. So if you do shopping on Amazon, if you make purchases, you go to the link below, you click on it, it takes you to Amazon just like you normally would go to Amazon. You can then search for whatever product it is you wanted to buy, and by making that purchase after clicking on the link, this channel will get a commission of that sale. And it is a great way to help support this channel and help us spread our message and grow this channel so that we can reach more and more people out there. So we thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoy the video. Well, there are a few more people out there with some presidential aspirations. Now, as you've probably gathered from the title of the video, today we're going to be talking about someone I made mention of in a video last week, and some recent activity from this gentleman, Kanye West. But before we get to Kanye, someone else just announced, there's been a lot of rumors floating around that he may jump in the pool and try for the Democratic nomination. Michael Bloomberg. And I just want to briefly cover this real quick before we get to Kanye. So Michael Bloomberg wants to run as a Democrat. Less than the time it would take to drink a cup of coffee ago, Michael Bloomberg was a Republican. He then switched to an independent, and now he is running on the Democratic Party. Now, what are some things that Michael Bloomberg is for? Well, I don't really know a lot of things Michael Bloomberg is for. He's probably just going to pitch some status quo generic message. But I can tell you a few things he's not for. He's certainly not for legalizing marijuana. You can go look up his views and his stance on that. He was very much in favor of stop and frisk in New York. Okay. And you can debate the issue of minimum wage, and what its effects actually would be by just simply raising the wage and not looking at how it affects each state by state. But nonetheless, the majority of the country is in favor of raising the minimum wage, and he is not. So there's a lot of things that he is not really all that, in agreement with in most of the Democratic Party. Now, what's his rationale for why he jumped into the race? Because he don't think that there's anyone currently running in the Democratic Party that could beat President Trump. That he thinks the field is too weak. Well, you know what? If you look at the people the mainstream media is pushing, you'd be exactly right. However, there are a few people out there who I think, like or dislike, would be a hard fight for President Trump in the 2020 election. Tulsi Gabbard, Andrew Yang, even Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Buttigieg. Yeah, they're not going nowhere. Okay? So, pure and simple, this is just another rich buffoon trying to jump into the race to maintain the Democrats' corporatist status quo because they're too afraid that there may be some outsiders gaining momentum and they might actually do some things in their policies that are for the people and not the left corporatists that basically fund the DNC. So that's pretty much all that is. Now, moving forward to Mr. Kanye. So, the particular clip we're going to be taking a look at here is a clip that came out on Fox News a few days ago where the Five talked about Kanye and his 2024 aspirations for becoming a president. Now, we're going to talk about what Fox News had to say about it, and also just how serious should anyone be taking good old Yeezy as a presidential candidate.
Are you ready for Kanye 2024? The rapper saying he's ready to run.
When I run for president 2024, we're going to definitely know what y'all laughing at. When I run for president.
First of all, I can't tell if his pause and the dead face, now what y'all laughing at, was him trying to be funny back at them for laughing, or if he was being dead serious, like, why are you laughing at me? I just said I'm running for president. You think that's a joke? You think it's funny? Because if that was your mentality, like, why are y'all laughing at me? I'm a celebrity. I just said I'm running for president. You think that's funny? No, I think it's freaking hilarious. I mean, seriously, dude. Really? I get that there are a lot of people out there on the Trump train who have found a new love for Yeezy since he started wearing MAGA hats. But have any of you actually stopped and listened to Kanye West? Sure. I've heard a few things that have come out of his mouth that I agree with. And him and Kardashian were pretty instrumental in getting the whole prison reform thing really moving with President Trump. So, hey, kudos to you for that. But let's examine the rest of that clip where he, we're not actually going to look at it here. If you want to go back and look it up on YouTube, you know, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. When he went to the White House, met with President Trump, this fool just sat there in the Oval Office, grandstanding and rambling about all sorts of incoherent crap. He was jumping from point A to G, man. And again, while there were some things I kind of heard in the middle of it, I'm like, okay, yeah, I agree with it. For the most part, he sounded like he took freaking shrooms or something before he went in there, mixed with a little bit of cocaine. Because he wasn't just, No, he was hyped up seeing out of this world stuff. It wasn't a calm out of world experience. It was out of the world experience is what it seemed like to me. I'm not implying Kanye West actually did drugs before he went there, but he certainly just seemed like he was a little okay. That being said, Kanye, that is why people didn't really take you too serious when you said you were running for president. And there's another reason, but I'm going to wait till we get through this clip to take a look at that one.
In 2024, we would have created so many jobs that I'm not going to run, I'm going to walk.
Oh, wow, that's clever. We're going to have to create so many jobs, I'm not going to have to run, I'm going to walk. So it sounds like he's giving President Trump some more praise, and saying that he's going to piggyback off of President Trump's success. This is going to be a cakewalk for him. Okay.
Kanye also saying he could change his name to Christian Genius Billionaire. All right, so Juan, what do you think about that?
Wait a minute. Christian Genius. Wait, he can't mimic Trump. Well, that's not allowed. Look, let me just tell you something. He's not going to run. I don't think so. I mean, the moment you declare half the country doesn't like it, that's why Oprah and other celebrities don't run. The second point to be made here is when you run, you really have to have a fire in your belly. I mean, you really have to want it. You can't just get out there and like how he gave that stare to the audience when they said that. You got to know. You got to love engage the audience. Ronald Reagan, when Ronald Reagan ran, it wasn't like he was a celebrity who just ran. Guess what happened? Ronald Reagan was governor of California. He had run for president twice before he ran. So you got to put up with all that. I don't see Kanye doing.
So Greg is about to make this very point, but I just want to pause and throw this in. That is the same argument that a lot of people made about President Trump. Oh, he's not serious enough. First, he'd never run. Then he didn't take it serious enough and this and that. But he ran. And has anyone taken a good long look at Kanye West? Yeah, I could definitely see this guy jumping in the race. Now, he may not. Personally, even though I just said I could see him jumping in, I'm going to believe it when I see it. I do think there is a nutty side to this man where he just might jump into that race. But at the same time, something I just got a gut feeling is telling me this is all just a big publicity stunt. And you'll see why, again, after we get through this clip.
This is the same argument that we did against Trump. And I'm one of the people who made that argument. I was talking about how Reagan did this. Reagan was an actor, true, but, and he did it. But, and I honestly don't think Trump thought he was going to win when he was going to win. I do believe that Trump has opened the door for Kanye. Persuasion is now more important than politics. I see this wherever I go. I look at people in a different way. It's like that person could do it. That person can't.
You think he could do it?
I think he's a master persuader. He has the art of being memorable and saying the right. Let me put it this way: when Trump got on stage, everybody kind of faded. Imagine him on a stage.
Yeah,
They'll fade.
I don't think he's up to
Trump.
Trump.
I have to tell you, Kanye versus Bernie in 2024 is going to be so good.
Is that it?
And the other thing is, I admire him for him. He's declared himself a Christian. He's done an entire album about it. He is living his faith. And it's not easy to talk about your faith because then you start getting attacked from other people.
Let me just interject one thing there. Gutfeld's prediction, just like Trump got on stage and pretty much failed, or everyone else faded, as he put it, that when Kanye West hits the stage, the same thing is going to happen. I see where they're coming from on that argument in a way, but I do think it's apples and oranges. I really do. Now, why do I think that it is apples and oranges? Well, for this simple reason. Now, I'm not implying that Donald Trump was a big policy whiz, but there were a lot of other things that Trump was talking about that were more leftist ideas, that were populist leftist ideas in some ways, that get over very well with the public, with the base, even in the Republican Party. They just poll well. That's what gave Trump such an edge over all these talking heads that ran against him in the 2016 primary. Okay? You're not gonna have that so much on the Democratic side. Now, I don't know which party he's gonna run on, but at this point, I think they're saying he's gonna lean towards the Republicans. Here's gonna be the problem with that, okay? Kanye West running on the Republican Party, he might be able to win that nomination. guarantee you he's going to lose the general election. Hear me now, quote me later. If Kanye West got the Republican Party's nomination, the Democratic Party is going to be ready for a candidate. Now, that's, of course, assuming President Trump gets a second term and that someone who is not an actual people's candidate that's running in the Democratic Party right now doesn't get the nomination and win the presidency. But if they do, then I'm sure they'll run for the second term, in which case you're going to have a very populist people's candidate. Whereas if it's somebody like Joe Biden or whatever, yeah, Trump's going to get that second term, and then the populist left is going to be even further up in arms saying, we have got to do this. We failed in 2016. They screwed us running for 2020. Now it's time. We get this status quo out of here. They're going to go to town to try and get someone like a Tulsi Gabbard, Andrew Yang, Bernie Sanders, or someone along those lines to be that party's nominee. Of course, I still think they'll fight the corrupt political machine to do it, but it's going to be even more pressured than it is right now to get done. And when you stack one of those candidates who are going to argue policy positions such as the issues of war, things like that, Kanye West may be able to state how he supports some popular position. But I got this sneaky suspicion when you start really grilling into Kanye West for specifics on his economic plan, on his trade plan, this and that, he's going to sound like Boo Boo the Clown. Okay? He's going to embarrass himself. He's going to embarrass himself. So while he may be able to get through a Republican primary, yeah, the right Democrat would smack him around 6 ways from Sunday on a debate stage. And he'd get squashed. Okay? Kanye West, regardless of what his ambitions actually are, and I'm not saying that he doesn't have good opinions, good philosophies, and certain ideas that may as overall be good for the country or whatever. I think he's got good intentions and good ambitions, but he's just not up to the level of trying to be the man to run a country. Period. You can be a great person and have the right, mindset, have good intentions and want to do right for your country. But being the president is an entirely different thing. And you really should be able to have some sort of an understanding about actual, economic issues, the healthcare system, so on and so forth. And I really just don't think that Kanye West has studied that stuff that much. Now, if he has, and there's stuff out there I just haven't seen, hey, send it to me. Maybe I'll flip my position on Kanye West. I just don't see that happening. What's killing me, though, is that the Five and Fox News, this is another reason why I've got this sneaky suspicion he's definitely going to run as a Republican if he were to run. Man, they are just smooching this guy's ass. Seriously. Please, Fox, disconnect your lips from his cheeks. Seriously.
The thing I love about it is that he says the new Yeezy sneaker, it's going to be made in Cody, Wyoming. And they're moving up there, the headquarters to Cody, Wyoming. And I think they'll make great shoes there.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Whew. Dana. For those of you who are not aware, this is a lady named Dana Perino. She served in George W. Bush's White House. Okay. Now, I don't think Dana is a bad person. I don't think that she's, one of the more propaganda-pushing people at Fox News in particular. But you just talked about what Kanye's planning on doing with his Yeezy sneakers moving it into Wyoming, blah, 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 and that'll be such a good thing. Okay, it may create some jobs, and if it does, beautiful, beautiful. That's great. But what sort of a product does he have, these Yeezy sneakers? Is this a product that really helps the American society? Is this a product that, since he talks about so many issues in the urban communities when I've heard him speak, what, does he make good, affordable shoes for people that, the underprivileged and the people having to live in poverty could get a good, affordable pair of shoes? Does he donate even any of these shoes into urban communities and give them away? Now, he may do that. I haven't seen any evidence of it. If someone has it, by all means, send it to me. I haven't heard of it. But I've got this sneaking suspicion that he doesn't. Because I know a thing or two about these Yeezys. At a job I used to have, they had a warehouse, an Adidas warehouse that was a client. And the security guards had to sit there and watch to make sure the Adidas employees didn't go down any of these aisles messing with these shoes. Why? Because the employees were trying to steal the shoes because of how expensive they were. To give you an idea, some of these Adidas Yeezy shoes can run anywhere from a few $100s to a few $1,000. A few $1,000 for a pair of freaking tennis shoes? Tennis shoes. I'll say it again. Tennis shoes. So when you're charging those kind of prices for some shoes, yes, you are doing such things to help the American society. Again, now I don't want someone jumping down my throat because there's probably charities and stuff that Kanye West contributed to and so on and so forth. And if he has, that's wonderful. I'm not going to bash that. I'm not going to, take anything away from it. If he has done good work within communities and so on and so forth, that's great. But to pretend that this particular product is some great thing from Kanye West and that he's going to create all these jobs and then that his product will be beneficial to the American economy. Oh, bull crap. Yeah, the only thing that's going to come out of that is the jobs. As far as the product is concerned, something that's being made in the United States that people are going to buy, because not many people are going to be buying these shoes except the people that have more money than brains. Sorry if any of you out there own a pair of Yeezys. Don't mean to offend, but that is an awful lot of money for some tennis shoes. And I haven't ever tried a pair on, but let me tell you something. At that price, I better feel like gravity has exited my body and I'm floating on air. I better not feel any pressure on my hips, my knees, or anything. I better feel like I'm just floating through to pay that kind of money for some shoes. And I have a feeling those shoes will not give me that feeling.
I think the secret weapon is Kim Kardashian. Because that's someone that they're going to be the first lady.
Yeah.
Think about it. So Kris Jenner's probably pulling the puppet strings here. She's got this whole thing figured out.
I think he is a phenom. And if he actually does declare, absolutely they will win. Here is why. So we heard part of his platform already. He talked about an eco-conscious fashion line that he would bring all of his jobs to North America, to South America. Think about his commitment through his wife to criminal justice reform. Think about his messaging for people of color that basically say, you're not on mass voting block, like you are unique. The amount of capital they have between the two of them, just on the table alone, $610 million. Like anything they put their mind to, they
Wow, really? He's going to win just on that alone. Just over talking about some issues in the urban communities and the fact that him and his wife have pushed for criminal justice reform and he plans on moving his clothing line and shoes and stuff over into the United States and making them here. Why has he got to run for president to move his stuff here? See, that raises a question in my mind, and a lot of people use this against President Trump when he talked about the issues of trade. If you felt so strongly about the United States being taken advantage of and how the conditions are so poor in other countries and it's hurting American business, then please explain once again why you are getting your product made in another country. Why don't you open those jobs here? Put some Americans to work. Give us a job. Don't have it made in China where you can get it pennies on the US dollar. Okay? Open it up here. You're a billionaire. You've got the money to do it. Do it. Why are you doing it over there? Okay. Well, same thing applies here. Kanye, why do you have to run for president to do it? See, that makes me a little suspicious. Because if you were really concerned with doing right by your country, you'd be already making it here. For God's sakes, if you're charging those sorts of prices while getting these things made in a country like China, for example, I'm not sure if he makes his shoes in China or not, but hypothetically, if they are, I know you're not paying that much to get them made, yet you're charging those sorts of prices. That means your profit margin has to be out of this world. Knowing what I know about how cheap things can get made in China and sent back, that's why so many companies outsourced the way they did and went to China or Mexico or wherever. They could make it so cheap, send it back, and still save money. And so if you're getting this thing made fairly cheap and charging these sorts of prices, you're not just doubling your profits. You're probably taking your what your cost to produce was, and your return is probably like times 10 or something, if not higher, perhaps. And I haven't seen statistics. I'm just going off, guesswork here. But I mean, so why are you not just doing it here in the United States? If you're such a philanthropist and you care so much about the American people, why do you have to run for president? Now I've asked that question multiple times. Here's my stance on why he has to do it when he runs for president. Because by moving them here and then getting into the White House, you would then have a grip and a control on the economy and the country. In which case, you would probably then start trying to do exactly what people have been criticizing and accusing President Trump of doing, and then using the country as your own personal tool to line your pocket. Try to get the taxes cut or try to get a trade deal that works beautifully for you so that when you open these jobs, you're increasing your profits somehow, some way, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Now, whether you have that intention or not, I don't know. But the fact that you can't do it until you run for president, that makes me very suspicious. But on top of all that, again, that's all you're running on, and you expect to win. You're not going to run on health care. And just because you're bringing your company's jobs over here, what's your stance on trade? What's your stance on, all these lopsided free trade deals? How are you going to negotiate with all these other countries? What's your stance on that? What's your stance on foreign policy and war? Oh, you don't have one on that either? Sounds like you're bringing a knife to a gunfight, my friend. You didn't come with very much ammo, did you? That's all you're going to run on. And that's the winning message, according to this lady here on Fox News. I'm not familiar with her. Okay, I recognize the rest. Dana, Gutfeld, Jesse Waters, and Juan Williams. But I did not recognize that lady. But according to her, that's the winning message. Seems like an awful vague message. Now, back to what I said earlier. Why do I have this gut suspicion that this is all just a bunch of publicity stunt bullcrap? Why do I feel like this should not be taken seriously? And why do I feel like he is just flapping his gums for some attention? Probably because I feel like I've heard this before. Do any of you feel like you've heard this before? Because I really feel like I've heard this before. As a matter of fact, I feel like I heard this in 2015 on MTV at the Music Awards. Do any of you remember this? Matter of fact, I think this might be what I'm thinking of.
As you probably could have guessed by this moment, I have decided in 2020 to run for president.
Huh. Are my ears playing tricks on me, or did he say 2020? See, we just watched that whole Fox News clip where he made some comments to the crowd. Why are you laughing when I said I'm running for president in 2020? Or, excuse me, 2024. When I run for president in 2024, what y'all laughing at? Probably because they heard you say this before that you're going to run in 2020, dude. Clock's ticking. You ain't announced crap. And we're well into the 2020 season on the Democrat Party. And don't blame it on the fact that Trump's your boy and he's the president and you don't want to run against him. Trump's got primary challengers. But, okay. Maybe you don't want to infringe on old Donald. So that's why you're waiting until 2024. Perhaps. And I'm not saying, again, that you won't run. I'm not saying Kanye won't run in 2024. Keep in mind, Donald Trump was heavily floating with the idea of running in 2012, decided not to, and then he did run for 2016. So it's very likely. He could run. But just knowing what I know about the Kardashians, seeing what I've been seeing out of Kanye West over the last few years, I just feel like he has married into the family that is very well known for being a bunch of attention whores. And they do anything for some publicity. And now I can't shake the feeling that all this stuff is Kanye West being a part of the Kardashian crowd. He has become an attention whore. He does this stuff for attention because publicity is publicity. It doesn't matter if it's good publicity or bad publicity. That's why, he was saying he was one of the greatest rock stars of all time at one point on stage. And Corey Taylor, lead singer from Slipknot, had to come out and smack him down a little bit for that one. Okay? He is an attention whore, man. And that's all this is. And so I do think at this point, if he runs, it's probably going to be on the Republican side. But let's remember this. Go back and watch clips. When he said he was going to run in 2020, the Democrats were cheering him on. So people thought then he was going to run on the Democratic Party. I can tell you right now, with the mindset going on in the Democratic Party and a lot of this grassroots stuff that's happening inside the Democratic Party for people like Bernie or Yang or Tulsi, okay, they would eat Kanye West alive. Okay? Heck, for that matter, I will go as far as to say Elizabeth Warren, Buttigieg, and Harris could eat Kanye West alive. Okay? I don't know about the Republicans, but at the same time, I have a feeling that if you put Kanye West up against the right Republicans, they would trounce him too. Like or dislike who I'm about to say, but if you stick him up against a Trey Gowdy, a Jim Jordan, Ted Cruz again, or any of these other guys, You stick Kanye West up against them, and I don't see Kanye West winning that Republican nomination either. Kanye West would probably only beat someone like the Jeb Bushes and the Marco Rubios. He could probably come out ahead of those guys. But some of the more grassroots Republican candidates that a lot of the Republican, Tea Party base, Freedom Caucus and all that really support, yeah, no, Kanye West ain't going to beat those guys. Not in a Republican primary. No. Like it or dislike it, it just ain't going to happen. And so he may run, but if he does, it's going to be a complete flop. Just an utter and complete failure. But best of luck to you, Yeezy. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Independent Report. If you liked the video, please give us a thumbs up and like the video. Also, if you have any questions or comments that you'd like to ask or topics you'd like us to cover, please drop a comment in the comment box below. And also, please subscribe to the channel. And if you do subscribe, ring that bell so you'll stay up to date when we drop new videos and you'll get notifications of it. And also, please support us on Patreon. Funds are going to be used to grow and improve this channel so we can reach more and more people and spread the message that the mainstream media doesn't want to tell people. We hope you'll tune in next time.